Yeah, I think this time has gone fast. It seems like it was yesterday. We were just talking about coming here, and now a lot of hard work, a lot of preparation, and we're excited to play. Tremendous respect for Penn State, obviously. We have a saying about stats. I won't say it here, but I think that these stats say a lot about Penn State. When you get this deep into the season, at the end of the season, I mean, this is why they have done so well. It's not just any one phase; it's all phases that they show up in, and we'll have to play our best ball to compete well with these guys.
You know, I guess the first thing I would say is, we did learn from last year's experience. I think, playing in these type of games, on these type of stages, you learn and you grow. I don't think last year's game will have a significant impact on us, but we looked at it even, from an administrative standpoint. What are some of the things that we could do traveling across the country to get adjusted and get prepared, for this type of game? What did we learn from last year's game? What are some of the things that we could have done differently from a planning and from a preparation standpoint to put our players in the best position to be successful? So, yeah, I think there's some lessons that were learned there. I think obviously when you're playing these Pac-10 style offenses, you better keep playing for 4 quarters. You better have a finisher's mentality, because I think, obviously University of Washington can put up big points, and they got explosive players, and they got a veteran quarterback. They got all the ingredients, that you would say is necessary to be successful at the highest level. So I think we learned a lot. We made some slight modifications from last year. But I think the seniors, we kind of went through our deal yesterday at practice where those guys get carried off the field, which is one of our kind of traditions that we do. And at our senior banquet, kind of had an opportunity to talk about those guys. I don't think it's something that you can really kind of put into words and describe the impact that last year's seniors had, the impact that this year's seniors had. They committed to Penn State at a time that it probably wasn't the sexy thing to do. And, I think those guys came in with a real big chip on their shoulder, that they wanted to be the senior class to really put Penn State back on the map. And I think they've accomplished a lot of that. But I also know, watching some of the highlights from that Rose Bowl game last year, when you're not successful that last game, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth and a lot of hurt feelings. And as Coach Petersen will tell you, I think he will, that there's only a handful of teams that are truly happy at the end of the season and really won. But I do think there's a lot of positives to end the season, on a positive note with a win in a bowl game, to send those seniors out the right way, and then also, just some confidence and good mojo going into the following season. But I think our seniors, I don't know if you can put a value on what they have done for our university and for our community, and specifically, for me and our staff. Those guys have been culture drivers, is what we would describe them as, guys that are reinforcing all the messages in the locker room and in the community that need to be reinforced.
I do. I mean, I think it's when you're going to play a team, in this type of game, you're going to get a really good opponent, and it's not going to be any one thing. It's going to be everything. It's going to be offense, defense, and special teams. I mean, they got elite returners, and their defense is like. I think the thing that's interesting about their defense is, they kind of got those star power names on offense. The offensive guys always sell the tickets. But you watch them play as a defense, and there's not any one guy that has this huge name out there, because they're all making tackles. And that's what I think like a good defense does. It's not any 1 or 2 guys that keep showing up. It's like they're all getting a piece of this thing. And I think that's one of the things that really makes a defense special, and I think they got that. And obviously they're, you guys know about the offense. But I think that's what it is. It's balance across the board, and balance in a really good way.
I would say the same thing. The things that probably jump out to us that keep me up at night a little bit is their punt returner. Obviously the amount of big plays, the amount of success that he's had, is concerning. Their running back is probably as explosive as a running back that we've seen this year. They got a veteran quarterback who throws for a really high percentage, doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. And then defensively, I think it's obviously their interior defensive tackles. You got 6'5", 340 pounds, and 6'3", 323 pounds, and they play like it. And then I think they do a really good job of complementing those two interior D tackles with what they do on the perimeter with their secondary. Those guys do a great job of defeating blocks and fitting runs and playing what we call trap coverage, where they'll trigger the corners and things like that, and make it really difficult. So now, you have a challenge, run the ball inside on them, and then, the perimeter game, because of what they do in the secondary, causes challenges there. So, just like Coach Petersen, said, a very balanced team that does a lot of things well. You don't have this type of success that they've had, with just relying on one area. And the offense, defense, and special teams all is going to be some challenges for us. And I do think that our guys have done a pretty good job this year of us being very honest with our players and say, look, here's some of the challenges, and we need to make sure at the end of the game that the stuff that we've identified as being issues in the game, we're not talking about it after the game saying it got us. So it's going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. I know our guys are excited about the opportunity, and it should be fun for everybody. I saw him the other night and had a conversation with him about, it probably makes sense for him to just declare to the NFL now. And he's a tremendous player. Tremendous player. You talk about stuff that you can't coach. 6'5", 340 pounds.
That's all coaching.
Yeah. 6'5", 340 pounds. You can't move them. You're trying to get double teams and be able to get push up to the second level like everybody is. And what happens is either he's able to make the play at the line of scrimmage by really creating a stalemate and then ditching the guy at the last second and making a tackle, or the other thing that's so advantageous having guys like that inside is it puts the linebackers in a great situation, because those defensive linemen are not getting pushed into their face, or they're never able to come off on the linebacker at the next level. So it allows the linebackers to be free hitters, and everybody on offense is trying to create space, and everybody on defense is trying to take space away, and they've done a great job of that.
It's interesting, after the game went down, we really tried to spend a lot of time moving on from, because that's all anybody wanted to talk about. And, we really wanted to move our team forward and not live in the past. And so for probably 3 or 4 years, people bring it up, and we just actually act like it didn't happen. Didn't hear the question, move on. I don't get it quite as much. I think you look back in your career at certain games and, really appreciate things that have happened. But I've said this before, everybody likes to talk about that first Fiesta Bowl. I was maybe more proud of our second Fiesta Bowl win against TCU. That, those were two really good teams, and TCU was really, really good. And for us to win that game, I was equally, if not more, proud of our team. But nobody spoke about it as much, as because there wasn't wedding proposals and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But it was they were both really, really awesome times to be at this site and this game.
I will say one last thing, though, is one of the things I think is interesting about this game is one of the things I've seen across the country now is with some of these bowl games is you have teams that had certain expectations, and then they get to the bowl game and maybe one team is really excited about playing in that game and the other team maybe isn't. And I think although both of our programs have been a part of national championship discussions over the last couple of years, and they were in the playoffs, I do feel like both teams are really excited about this opportunity and playing in this game. This is a tremendous opportunity, a tremendous game. So I think you got two teams that are playing really well, that both were a part of these types of conversations and are both highly motivated to play in this game. So I think it's a great opportunity for football fans across the country, and I think it's a great opportunity for both of our organizations.